Hi guys, you are now watching In the Seat. I'm your host, Valerie Perez. I can't believe it, but today is our last show. For the final In the Seat, we're going to talk about the Mueller Report. In here to comment, we have Ian and Thomas, but before we begin, take a quick look at this informative clip. Democrats have been waiting for the Mueller report to come out. Lately, the Trump administration has been accused of allowing Russian interference with U.S. politics dating back to the 2016 presidential election. Mueller made it clear that the Trump administration was cooperative throughout the entire investigation. Now the Democrats have been demanding for answers. They wanted Barr to release FBI Director Robert Mueller's full investigative report as soon as possible. This report was not available to the public until mid-April. In this report, two key points have caused Democrats to stay impatient. The first is that the special counsel investigated into possible Russian collusion, yet this counsel still chose not to take any criminal steps while further investigation was going on. The second is that some efforts of Trump's plan to obstruct justice failed because certain people under his administration or under his following chose to disobey some of his orders. I sat down with two students to see what their overall opinions are about Mueller's report and recent political news stories. Welcome back. Right now I'm with Thomas and Ian. Can you guys please introduce yourselves and tell us which political party you identify with?
Yeah, totally. My name is Thomas Hobo. I'm an economics student and a progressive political activist.
Hello, my name is Ian Lopez, and I'm here as a member of the Republican group in campus.
All right, so I'm pretty sure we've read the Mueller report, correct?
I mean, not the whole thing.
I know.
It's a pretty long document.
All 400 pages of it seems like a lot whenever we're college students and we're trying to, finish up with finals and stuff. So one of the first things I wanted to talk about was Barr and Mueller's public image. What do you think has changed? What do you think the public has been responding to?
Yeah, totally. So I think that clearly Mueller disagreed with Barr's handling of the report, the way that he hosted a press conference before it was released. His 4-page summary to Congress misrepresented a lot of Mueller's claims, and Mueller said as much in a letter. Furthermore, I think that this isn't really surprising given that Barr was pretty much employed to cover up Iran-Contra back in the day.
Yeah, I think the public really had kind of a good statement, and they had a lot of backlash to say about the 4 summaries whenever that happened. I remember seeing a lot of that on the news. What about you?
Well, whatever happens with whatever people say if they complain about it, still at the end of the day, there has been no evidence of collusion so far. So.
Yeah, what I think is really interesting about this collusion claim is that it actually doesn't have any basis in legal literature or in law itself. If you go to FindLaw, which is an online legal database, you can read about it, but collusion actually, according to them, has no legal definition, and it's not taught in any sort of law courses. It's not even a thing in criminal law. And it wasn't what Mueller actually set out to investigate. So it's not really surprising he concluded no collusion, since that's not an actual crime.
Yeah.
Right, except that there was no evidence of them going into meetings with the Russians to do this kind of thing for the election.
Well, we know that George Papadopoulos did that. So here are the facts, right? Russia interfered in our election and worked to help Trump win. Although we can't prove that his campaign cooperated with Russia, they were eager to accept their help, and we shouldn't be comfortable with that. And furthermore, Trump may have obstructed justice, and if he didn't, it was only because the people below him didn't follow his orders. And so, in the words of John Oliver, the Attorney General and the nation's top law enforcement official has pretty much proven himself to be a dishonest hack by tacitly and brazenly misrepresenting the report in his statements.
I mean, you can say that, but at the end of the day, there still wasn't found any evidence, because what happened is that a lot of the people that were tried and found guilty of different crimes that had nothing to do with Russia. And even the people that do meet with Russia, it always happens to be that they met for their own personal financial reasons. So
yeah, I think
there's also been, just so that we get kind of some stuff straight, there also has been at least 2 or 3 people who were arrested trying to promote and recruit people to connect with Russia. Their means and their kind of reasoning to connect hasn't really been cleared yet, but there have been people arrested who were connecting with Russia.
Yeah.
We have seen those reports.
Of course, but there can be a trial, but so far the evidence proves nothing of it.
What's really interesting about this statement is that I'm going to read a direct quote from the report for you right now. He said, "While this report does not conclude that the president committed a crime, it also does not exonerate him." I don't think that anybody's out here saying that there's complete proof that the president or his campaign officials were actively collaborating with Russia, but it does prove that Russia interfered in the election to help Trump win, and that many of the people and the top senior people in his campaign, when they were offered Russian help, were not immediately like, we should not do this. They were receptive to it. And
by Russian help, do you mean like Assange releasing emails that he got from Hillary that something very horrible was happening in the DNC?
I mean the meeting between Jared Kushner and Donald Trump Jr. and several other campaign officials with a Russian official when they knew beforehand, and it's in the emails, that it was a Russian agent who said that they might be able to help the Trump campaign, right? So we can't prove from that meeting, there's no proof that out of that meeting an actual plan to commit election fraud happened, right? But I think it's problematic that some of the top senior people and some of the top advisors to Donald Trump were totally okay with that happening. They went into the meeting, they were fine with it, they didn't alert anybody in the intelligence community. That's kind of scary to me, that people with that much power in the US government would be willing to do that.
It's so scary that an elected president is going to meet with the representative or ambassador from another country that he has to deal with, the second most powerful nuclear power in the world.
He wasn't elected yet, and in the emails leading up to the meeting, they were explicitly saying that they were going to help the Trump campaign win. So yeah, I do think it is surprising. I think that you can kind of lie and try to obfuscate what actually happened as much as you want, but if you read the report and if you look at the emails, it's pretty clear what happened, right?
Well, yeah,
A Tom Clancy novel, basically.
It is surprising, and we know that the public has already reacted to it. We see a lot of local stations reacting to it. We see a lot of regular civilians reacting to it. Do you guys think that it's surprising that Trump kind of hasn't changed his perspective on this either? That he doesn't seem scared. He doesn't seem like he's been I guess that his privacy has been interrupted.
He said nothing happened. The report came out, then nothing happened. Why would he be scared?
Yeah, I mean, I think that obviously he is scared. Here's a quote from the report. When former Attorney General Jeff Sessions told the president that a special counsel had been appointed, the president slumped back in his chair and said, "Oh my God, this is terrible. This is the end of my presidency. I'm fucked." That's a direct quote from him. So yeah, I mean, clearly he was scared that the report would come out and say something bad about him. I think that in the end, like I said, it doesn't prove that there was like an active, coordinated campaign between Russia and the Trump campaign to help him get elected, and I'm very happy that there wasn't one, right? But I think that it did reveal, and this, I'm going to say this in the words of Susan B. Glasser of The New Yorker. He said the report reveals a breathtaking culture of lying and impunity. The report really revealed that within the Trump White House and within the Trump team, there's a lot of lying going on, there's a lot of bad things happening, and that's something that every American should be concerned about. And even if the Trump campaign didn't collude with Russia, I think that we should be concerned that a foreign power is actively working so hard to change the outcome of U.S. elections.
Working so hard, they barely did some ads on Facebook. Do you think that's not working so hard?
Yeah, I mean,
second of all, what actually was actually much more worried about it was because several other people have been tried and found guilty of crimes adjacent to this thing, but that had nothing to do with it. For example, some finance lying or some changing their taxes. It was just absolute trash that they were, found guilty of. That had nothing to do with it.
What I think is really interesting,
I think he was scared of that. Because as he probably has lied in some of his finances from way before in the beginning of his businesses. I think he's scared of being found. He's not scared of being found of this Tom Clancy novel parody of him being a Manchurian candidate from Russia.
Yeah, I do want to point out that what you said about it being just a couple Facebook ads is obviously a total lie. I'd implore anyone viewing this to Google what actually happened. Russia actually employed people to hack into the Democratic National Committee and leak their emails.
Yeah,
that's more than just a couple of Facebook
to just
ads.
Troll on Facebook.
Yeah, and
we have seen, there have been public images and videos and WikiLeaks too of Trump and Vladimir Putin's relationship and how it's escalated as he has become the president. That is something that we have seen, but unfortunately it looks like this is all the time we have today. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you.
Thanks.